So my undergrad degree is in biochemistry, molecular genetics, and I also have a teaching degree, but and I worked in publishing for 15 years. And the path was this: I've got little Vasco who came to me with all kinds of allergies, like everything on the planet he was allergic to food-wise. And so food became a real central key part of my life, and that's how we ended up with the farm, and that's how I end up, with my cookbook and all the things. Most of it all kind of stems from what I discovered how important food was with him. Like he wasn't going to live if I didn't feed him properly. He was failure to thrive. And when I nursed him, he was this great big fat baby, and I started putting him on food, and he just disappeared on me as soon as I started feeding him solids. So that was a real journey. Get the kid to live, right? And so we succeeded, obviously.
Now I'm dead, everyone.
He would get horrible stomach aches with some things. He would get cramping with others. He would get general inflammation with others. He would get hives. Like yellow dye. He breaks out in 10,000 hives. We can't miss that one. No. But eggs, it's almost 48 hours later that he'll have a stomach ache. He'll start cramping with it 48 hours later. Yeah. So with Vasco, what I did is I kept food records. I wrote down what I fed him every day, and I wrote down his symptoms. And I just approached it entirely scientifically, and it was like, okay, and then just studied the charts and studied and was like, okay, what are the patterns here? And it was like, okay, every time I give him an egg, 48 hours later, he's he's like kicking and tossing and throwing. So in the end, it came down to he could eat rice, salmon, broccoli, and apples. And that was it. His underlying issues, he's got celiac disease, so he's gluten-free. And then with that, one of the things about celiac disease, you get leaky gut. And so then stuff actually crosses over and gets into your bloodstream, so you develop all sorts of other allergies. So what I've ended up with are a set of recipes that are gluten-free, dairy-free, mostly egg-free. That was part of the reason I'm getting the farm too, is because what I think the underlying issue with him is, and I don't know for sure, but is aflatoxin, because all of the foods that he's allergic to are sources of aflatoxin, which is a really nasty toxin.
What is that?
Aflatoxin comes from fungus, and it's like a byproduct, and one of the places where it's rampant in our society is peanuts. Okay, so we came up with this diet for Vasco, which I'm calling the Vasco diet. My cookbook is going to be called Recipes for Living Brightly.
You heard it here first.
So that's right. Yeah. Oh, Vasco, don't, please. Okay,
oh, here it is.
Yeah,
the
that's
manuscript.
right. That's right.
The Da Vinci Code.
Here's the big mess that has to be sorted through and turned into a book. But so when we started with this, and I'm glad, I'm a talker, right? So I'm at La Leche League, and I'm talking away about all this stuff that I'm going through with Vasco. And one of the other moms said, it's the exact same set of foods that I'm feeding myself and my son, and what I'm working with is a body ecology diet, and what she had was systemic candida. And so she put me onto the body ecology diet, and I'm like, holy mac, this is exactly the same set of foods that I've come up with for Vasco. And then I've got a girlfriend who's got fibromyalgia, and we're doing a bunch of research to try to help her, and it's the same set of foods that she can tolerate. And then I've got a friend who's got a little girl who's got autism, and it's the same set of, so there's all of these different disorders that basically, if you just completely simplify down the diet, like get rid of all your major allergens and your wheat and your dairy, you're gonna feel better. It does come down to experimentation, and so that's my thinking with my cookbook. It's like pull everything back, and here's your elimination diet. Start with this, and then just reintroduce things, very, very gradually, and say, okay, how do I feel? Right? Okay, I ate this piece of banana bread. How do I feel the next day, right? And just always be checking in. And the other thing is like when I first started the whole process, I thought it was for life. I thought it was going to be eating this way for the rest of my life. But I'm happy to say I'm healing. Like my tolerance for stuff is much greater. In Vasco's, he can eat dairy now, and he can eat chocolate, and he can eat strawberries, and he can, his diet is really, really expanded.